Hola, mis estudiantes, y bienvenidos a Capítulo 2, Module 5B. We'll begin Capítulo 2 with an overview of the capítulo, talk about the communication that you'll be learning in this chapter, the cultural pieces you'll be learning in this chapter. We'll begin then with our La Cultura, un viaje por las áreas hispanohablantes en EEUU. In other words, a trip through the Spanish-speaking areas in the USA. As with our capítulo 1, we'll start with el vocabulario nuevo, los días de la semana, days of the week, and las actividades, verbs, activities, which is a common way to start when you begin speaking Spanish. We'll wrap up our chapter with fíjate, pay attention to Spanglish, la mezcla de los dos idiomas, Spanish, the mixture of two languages. So let's begin with capítulo 2. The theme is ¿Qué te gusta hacer? What is pleasing to you to do? In other words, air quotes, what do you like to do? Gustos y preferencias. We express aspects of our personalities through our likes and dislikes. In this chapter, we explore the relationship between personalities and preferences. So think about it for a moment. How do you think that the activities you like and dislike define who you are? Think about that. I like to travel. That might say I'm a little bit adventurous. I like to read. That might make me, I don't know, I might be a little more introverted if I like to read. I like to cook a little bit. So think about that as we go through the chapter. Primero, comunicación. By the end of this chapter, you will be able to express likes and dislikes, compare yourself to other people, and describe personality traits, both yours and of other people. You'll be asking and answering questions. We focused most on asking questions, but you'll be learning the pieces to put it together to form new questions on your own. Talk about leisure time activities and indicate nationality. As far as culture goes, by the end of the chapter, you will have explored world nationalities, bilingual culture in the United States and Canada, some statistics about Hispanics in the U.S., Hispanic groups in the U.S., a brief overview of their history and culture, where various groups of Spanish speakers are located in the United States and their countries of origin. And finally, some famous U.S. Hispanics talking about themselves and their heritage. So we'll begin with un viaje por las áreas hispanohablantes en los EEUU, a trip through the Spanish-speaking areas of the U.S. Estos 10 estados tienen las poblaciones más grandes de hispanohablantes de Estados Unidos. And remember, hispanohablantes means Spanish speakers. Puedes identificar los 5 estados con las poblaciones más grandes. So here we have our 10 estados en los Estados Unidos. And by the way, some U.S. states have Spanish equivalents that are fairly common in speech, while others do not. For example, Florida means flowered. Nevada comes from nevar, the verb to snow. So it's a snowed upon state. In this book, Spanish state names are provided only in Spanish if it's frequently used by native speakers. For example, Nueva York, New York, Nuevo Mexico, New Mexico. Otherwise, the English name is provided, like Rhode Island and Massachusetts. So once again, take a look at the 10 estados, and which do you think are the 5 estados con las poblaciones más grandes of hispanohablantes? Which 5 do you think have the largest population of Spanish speakers? Take a look. Pick your 5. And this may surprise you. Número 1, California, the largest population of Spanish speakers. Número 2, Texas, probably not a surprise, so close to the Mexican border. Número 3, which one do you think it is? Florida. Many from Cuba have immigrated to Florida. What about número 4? Nueva York, especially in la ciudad de Nueva York. And 5 might be una sorpresa, a surprise. Illinois. Why would that be? Think about the major city where there would be a lot of Spanish speakers in Illinois. Of course, that would be Chicago. So ahora, ¿qué sabes? What do you know? D, say, si las siguientes oraciones son ciertas o falsas. So say if the following statements are true, certain, cierta, or falsa. Número 1. No hay ningún estado del medio oeste en la tabla. In our list there. Is there a Midwest state? Cierto o falso? There isn't any. Midwest state is falso. ¿Por qué? We have Illinois. That is actually a Midwest city. Número 2. La mayoría de los estados con muchos hispanohablantes están en el suroeste o el oeste. ¿Cierto o falsa? Cierta. Most of the states with a lot of Spanish-speaking people are located in the south, southwest, or west. Y finalmente 3, los nombres de algunos de los estados son de origen español. Cierto. Colorado, from color, color. That's a very colorful state. Bueno, moving on to el vocabulario nuevo, los días de la semana. Now, in this chapter, there are 3 days that we work with. However, I think that we might as well just go ahead and learn all the days of the week at the same time. Bueno, repitan por favor. Los días de la semana. Los días de la semana. The days of the week. And we begin with Monday. Repitan. Lunes. Lunes. Martes. Martes. Miércoles. Miércoles. Jueves. Jueves. Viernes. Viernes. Sábado. Sábado. Domingo. Domingo. Notice 2 things. First of all, the days of the week are not capitalized. And second, there are 2 days that require accents. Miércoles, and that would be for pronunciation. The first E is stressed. Miércoles. And sábado, once again for pronunciation. Sábado. See if you can remember which day this would be in Español. Wednesday. Miércoles. Saturday. Sábado. Monday. Lunes. Friday. Viernes. Tuesday. Martes. Sunday. Domingo. Thursday. Jueves. Call it the English. Saturday. Monday. Thursday. Sunday. Tuesday. Friday. Wednesday. Now you're going to see the screens and you'll be calling out the Spanish. Miércoles. Domingo. Jueves. Sábado. Lunes. Viernes. Now you see a calendar, and you'll see the days of the week. Preguntas del calendario. ¿Cuál día es? And now I'm going to give you a date, and you're going to tell me which day of the week it is. So, por ejemplo, ¿cuál día es el 2 de mayo? Take a look. Find the 2nd of May, and you would say, es lunes. So here are the days of the week. I'll ask the question, ¿cuál día es? And you tell me what day it is. Bueno, ¿cuál día es el 8 de noviembre? Es martes. Tuesday es martes. ¿Cuál día es el 18 de febrero? El 18 de febrero. Es jueves. Es jueves. ¿Cuál día es el 7 de agosto? El 7 de agosto. Es domingo. Es domingo. August 7th is a Sunday. ¿Cuál día es el 27 de mayo? El 27 de mayo. Es viernes. Es viernes. ¿Cuál día es el 17 de noviembre? El 17 de noviembre. Es jueves. The 17th of November is Thursday. Otras palabras, other words taken from el vocabulario at the fin del capítulo 2. Repitan. Los fines de semana. Los fines de semana. Literally meaning the ends of the week, weekends. Repitan. Los viernes. Los viernes. Los sábados. Los sábados. Los domingos. Los domingos. So why are these introduced into this chapter? Well, these are the expressions that you use to say that you do something on Saturdays. I do a certain thing on the weekends. So let's take a look at how this works. ¿Qué significa en inglés? Tengo que estudiar los fines de semana. I have to study, air quotes, on weekends. So we would say, I have to study weekends. I have to study on the weekends. In Spanish, there is no on. You just say the plural of the day, and the plural would be los fines de semana. So, ¿qué significa en inglés? Ana tiene que hablar español los viernes. Ana has to speak Spanish Fridays, air quote on Fridays, but no literal translation for on. You don't put N in your Spanish sentence. Moving on, el vocabulario nuevo, las actividades. So these are new verbs that we are learning. We're moving beyond ser, tener, and I to learn actividades. And this really focuses on the theme of this chapter, which is ¿Qué te gusta hacer? Literally, that means what is pleasing to you to do. But we can air quote it and say, what do you like to do? Repitan, por favor. Alquilar videos. Alquilar videos. Alquilar películas. Alquilar películas. Meaning to rent videos, to rent movies. Repitan. Estudiar en la biblioteca. Estudiar en la biblioteca. Estudiar en casa. Estudiar en casa. To study in the library, biblioteca. To study in the house or at home. Repitan, conversar. Conversar. To converse, to chat. Repitan, escuchar música. Escuchar música. To listen to music. Repitan, bailar. Bailar. To dance, and you can see the word ballet kind of from there. Repitan, cocinar. Cocinar. Nice that it starts with the first two letters of cook, to cook. Repitan, caminar. Caminar. To walk, caminar. Repitan, cantar. Cantar, which means to sing. And you can think of like chant, chanting at a church or something to sing. You can almost see all the letters of the word chant in there. So now one is going to darken and see if you can remember what that one is in Español. ¿Cómo se dice to listen to music? Escuchar música. ¿Cómo se dice to chat? Conversar. ¿Cómo se dice to sing? Cantar. ¿Cómo se dice to rent videos or to rent movies? Alquilar videos. Alquilar películas. ¿Cómo se dice to dance? Bailar. To walk. Caminar. To study in the library or to study at home. Estudiar en la biblioteca. Estudiar en casa. ¿Cómo se dice to cook? Cocinar. Now the next screen they're going to be scrolling by and see if you can first call out the English, el inglés. To rent videos. To rent movies. To study in the library. To study at home. To converse, to chat. To listen to music. To dance. to walk, to cook, to sing. Now see if you can come up with el español. Cocinar, estudiar en casa, bailar, conversar, alquilar películas, cantar, alquilar vídeos, caminar, estudiar en la biblioteca, escuchar música. There's so many actividades. Of course, we have a few more to add to the list. 2 more screens, actually. This is our second screen. Repitan. Practicar deportes. Practicar deportes. To practice sports. Pintar. Pintar. To paint. Navegar por internet. Navegar por internet. To surf the internet. Patinar. Patinar. To skate. Hablar por teléfono. Hablar por teléfono. To talk on the phone, to talk by phone. Levantar pesas. Levantar pesas. To lift weights. You can see the word levitate in there, lift up. And finalmente, mirar televisión. Mirar televisión. To watch television. See if you can remember which one when it darkens. ¿Cómo se dice to talk by phone? Hablar por teléfono. Mirar televisión. Practicar deportes. Navegar por internet. Levantar pesas. Patinar. Pintar. See if you can say the English on the next screen before they scroll by. To talk by phone. To watch television. To surf the internet. To lift weights. To skate. To paint. To practice sports. Make sure you're putting the to in front of that activity, of that action, of that verb. They're not conjugated yet. They're in the infinitive form, the to form. Now call out el español. Patinar. Practicar deportes. Navegar por internet. Hablar por teléfono. Pintar. Mirar televisión. Levantar pesas. Our last batch, repitan por favor. Tocar un instrumento. Tocar un instrumento. Now the verb tocar means to touch. In Spanish they say to touch an instrument. okay, which is our air quoted, to play an instrument. If you play a sport, it's a totally different verb. The verb is jugar, Jugar. But to play an instrument, you touch the instrument, tocar. Repitan, por favor. Tocar el piano. Tocar el piano. Tocar la trompeta. Tocar la trompeta. Tocar la guitarra. Tocar la guitarra. Tocar el violín. Tocar el violín. Visitar a amigos. Visitar a amigos. Notice that little a. It is between visitar and amigos. It's called a personal a. When a person is receiving the action of a verb, a little a goes in there to indicate that it's a person, not an object. It's called the personal a. It has no literal translation in English. So just kind of keep it in the back of your mind. Sacar fotos. Perdón. Sacar fotos. Tomar el sol. Tomar el sol, which means to take in the sun. Sacar fotos, by the way, sacar means to take out. You also sacar la basura, to take out the garbage. So you're actually taking out photos from the film. Tomar means to take in, so they're kind of opposites there. Repitan, tomar un refresco. Tomar un refresco, which is to take in a refreshment, soft drink. Repitan, trabajar. Trabajar, to work. Take a glance at them now, and because you know they're going to disappear here. Okay. Bueno, ¿cómo se dice to play an instrument? Tocar un instrumento. To work. Trabajar. Tocar el violín. Tomar el sol. Tocar la guitarra. Tomar un refresco. Tocar la trompeta. Sacar fotos. Visitar a amigos. Okay, call it out in English. Whoops, after this one, sorry. Tocar el piano. To play the guitar. Don't forget the to in front. To take pictures. To take in the sun. To play the piano. To visit friends. To play the violin. To take in a refreshment, soft drink. To work. To play an instrument. To play the trumpet. Spanish, sacar fotos. Tocar la guitarra. Tomar un refresco. Tocar un instrumento. Tocar la trompeta. Trabajar. Tomar el sol. Tocar el violín. Tocar el piano. visitar a amigos. Y ahora un poco de práctica. What Spanish verbs do you associate with the following? Choose from the list. So you go into a nice museo del arte and you see los murales, the beautiful murals there. Which letters do you think? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. B, H, I. Pintar has to do with murals, to paint. Estudiar, maybe you study murals. Or mirar, to look at, to watch. How about la música? C, E. Tocar la música, escuchar la música, maybe even practicar. F. Número 3, los deportes. F and I. Practicar los deportes, mirar los deportes, of course, watching sports por televisión, en la televisión. How about una presentación oral? An oral presentation. A, E, H. Preparar una presentación oral, escuchar una presentación oral, estudiar una presentación oral. Un instrumento musical, número 5. C, E, F, H. Tocar, to play. Escuchar, to listen to. Practicar, to practice. Estudiar, to study. Finalmente, how about la familia? D, E, G. Visitar a la familia. Escuchar a la familia. Conversar con la familia. Bueno, let's put it into action now and ask and answer the question, what's pleasing to you to do? To me, it's pleasing to. So, primero la práctica, repitan por favor. A ti, ¿qué te gusta hacer? ¿Qué te gusta hacer? Los fines de semana. Los fines de semana. Repitan. ¿Qué te gusta hacer los fines de semana? ¿Qué te gusta hacer los viernes? ¿Qué te gusta hacer los sábados? ¿Qué te gusta hacer los domingos? And you would answer by saying, me gusta, or if you want to be more dramatic about it, more specific, a mí me gusta. Repitan, a mí me gusta. A mí me gusta. So take a look at all the pieces, and I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask, what is pleasing to you to do on the weekends? So you can answer me, a mí me gusta, give an actividad, and then finish with los fines de semana. So listen to el ejemplo. A ti, ¿qué te gusta hacer los fines de semana? A mí me gusta visitar a amigos los fines de semana. Ready? ¿Listos? Let me ask you la pregunta. ¿Qué te gusta hacer los fines de semana? ¿Qué te gusta hacer los viernes? ¿Qué te gusta hacer los sábados? ¿Qué te gusta hacer los domingos? Now let's make it negative, and I want to ask you, what don't you like to do? And I'll put Fridays or weekends in there and answer the pregunta. So, ¿qué no te gusta hacer los fines de semana? Bueno, maybe you said something like, no me gusta trabajar los fines de semana. I don't like to work on the weekends. ¿Qué no te gusta hacer los viernes? Maybe you said, no me gusta cocinar los viernes. That would be me. I don't like to cook on Fridays. Muy bien. So we've talked about you and what you like to do. We've used que te gusta, answering with me gusta. Now let's talk about someone else. Your friends like to participate in certain activities. So say what they like to do based on the information provided. So let's look at a couple of modelos. First, we see Ernestina, and we see Morales. To say that it's pleasing to her to paint, not to me, me gusta, not to you, te gusta, but to her or to him, le gusta. Perdón. So we would say, le gusta pintar. Let's look at another ejemplo. Modelo. Leo, orquesta de música clásica. So that's something he's involved in. So, le gusta tocar un instrumento musical. So we're seeing an item associated with that activity. You need to come up with the activity. Here we go. Número uno. We have Neti, who's very interested in ballet. Le gusta bailar. Antonio is interested in himnos y ópera. Le gusta cantar. Javier is interested in paella, enchiladas, tacos, tortillas. Le gusta cocinar. Clara is very interested in her cámara. Le gusta sacar fotos. Ernesto has his estéreo. Le gusta escuchar música. Betty is very interested in programas de comedia, programas de noticias, news. Le gusta mirar televisión. Susana is very interested in her celular. Le gusta hablar por teléfono. And Luis is always working with his páginas web. Le gusta navegar por internet. Moving on, fíjate. Pay attention to Spanglish, la mezcla de dos idiomas. Spanish, the mixture of two languages. We have an author who's noted here. And this would be a Latina en los Estados Unidos. When two cultures are in close proximity, eventually their languages will influence each other. Because native speakers of Spanish and native speakers of English have lived side by side for hundreds of years in the United States, a new hybrid form of the two languages has begun to spring up in conversation on the street, in poetry and fiction, and even in the articles of academic linguistic journals. Strict language purists, including parents, who want their children to be fluent and literate in both languages, and traditionally minded people who view the mixing of languages as a degradation of the original languages do not approve of the casual use of Spanglish among the newer generations of Latino Americans. Jan Stavans, a Mexican native award-winning essayist and the Lewis Sebring Professor in Latin American and Latino Culture at Amherst College, illustrates this point in his book Spanglish, The Making of a New American Language. Asked by a reporter in 1985 for his opinion on El Spanglés, Octavio Paz, the Mexican author of The Labyrinth of Solitude, written in 1950, and a recipient of the Nobel Prize for Literature, is said to have responded with a paradox. Here's what he said: Ni es bueno, ni es malo, sino abominable. It is neither good nor bad, but abominable, horrible. This wasn't an exceptional view. Paz was one of scores of intellectuals with a distaste for the bastard jargon, which in his eyes didn't have gravitas, didn't have any dignity. Another award-winning author. Spanglish is not easy to master. It takes a profound understanding of the nuances of both English and Spanish in order to syncopate, put together, the linguistic components of each and produce a comprehensible and communicative statement. Bilingual puns, bilingual wordplay, and bilingual sentence fusion can be found in the works of many Latino American writers, such as Francisco Alarcón, Julia Álvarez, Sandra Cisneros, Cristina Garcia, Tato Laviera, and Junot Díaz. Even Stavans admits, over the years my admiration for Spanglish has grown exponentially. And he continues. And atención, Spanglish isn't only a phenomenon that takes place in los United States. In some shape or form, with English as a merciless global force, it is spoken and broken, no es solamente hablado, sino quebrado, all across the Hispanic world, from Buenos Aires to Bogotá, from Barcelona to Santo Domingo. So beware, se habla el Spanglés everywhere these days. Spanglish is spoken everywhere these days. Important as your learning in social and cross-cultural skills and awareness of varieties of Spanish and Spanish-English mix and different attitudes towards Spanglish will help you to navigate the complex cross-cultural situations in which you hear Spanglish. The version of Spanish that we learn textbook-wise is kind of a pure university, college-level Spanish, but there are many, many varieties of Spanish that you'll hear in the Spanish-speaking world, plus mixtures of Spanglish. So questions for you as we wrap up this module, Module 5B. How do you feel about the mixing of two languages? Here you have some other occurrences. Chinglish, Portuñol, Franglés. Can you guess what the languages involved are in each case? So we have Chinese and English, Chinglish, Portuñol, Portuguese and Espanol, Franglés, French and English, Inglés. Do you know any bilingual speakers? Do you know of any books that use the fusion of Spanish and English in some form? So do a little research as you travel around where you live, in your community, people that you know who speak Spanish, or on the web. Try to find a couple examples of bilingual statements that amuse you. See what's out there in the world. Excelente, es el fin de Module 5B. Buen trabajo y hasta pronto.